I wanted to share with you a song I wrote on a road trip I took a year after my son passed. I traveled around the country, did a lot of connecting with my son, singing to my son, a lot of hiking, exploring, doing things that him and I used to do together. So let me see, my son passed away a month before his 13th birthday. While I was out, I wrote a lot of songs, grieved, a lot of crying, a lot of fun too, a lot of joy. Just saw a lot of new things, reconnected with nature, reconnected with myself, reconnected with Sammy. I want to say it wasn't the first song that I wrote connected to Sammy, but I think it was the first song I wrote while I was on my road trip. And I noticed, even though I was dealing with this intense grief, this overwhelming loss, trauma from my son dying, trauma from the way in which he died, what I saw when he struggled in the ICU before he passed. But I noticed while dealing with that trauma, while reflecting, I'd bring a journal with me, and I'd journal all the time. I was playing guitar, writing, like I said. And I noticed as I did that, other things came up, other past traumas. And I just noticed as I was trying to lean into that trauma that these other things came up. Sometimes I noticed them directly when I'd be journaling, but other times, well, for example, when I wrote this song, I just was messing around with the guitar when I played that C. And then the A minor. That's when the words, whatever was inside me kind of came out. Anyway, I wrote this while I was camping along a river near Orofino. I think that's how you say it, Orofino, Idaho. It was after a hike in another part of Idaho to a place called Stanley Springs. Stanley Springs is in the Selway Bitterroot National Forest. It's I don't think it wasn't too intense of a hike. I mean, it's considered hard, I guess, according to all trails. It was like a 2,000 elevation gain. You hike about 9 miles in. So it's just a beautiful hike, really pushed my body. And you just end up at these hot springs. I want to say it's like 3, they're kind of connected. And as you sit down into them, into each of the different pools, I tried them all out, the forest in front of you kind of opens up a little bit. Because you're on the side of the mountain, so you're on the side like this, and you're sitting in that, and the land it's going down, and it kind of evens out a little bit, and then the woods open up slightly in front of you. And you can just see like another mountain range from there. So you're sitting in natural hot springs, in the forest, in the mountains, looking across at other mountains. I mean, just a beautiful sight. What I really needed that day, to push my body and then get up there and just relax. While I was camping, this dude walked by and we started chatting, and he asked if I had a beer, and I did actually. I was as I'd stop in new places, I'd try some local IPAs. So I had like a 4-pack with me. So we had a beer together and chatted about life, about our experiences. I shared while I was traveling. He was from there. And before I get into the song, I just want to say that was just an awesome part of the trip, communing with people. Because right after that, I went on a hike in Oregon near, hope I'm saying that right, near Enterprise. And it was up to this hike. This was like a 4,600 something like that elevation gain, pretty rugged hike. That was the elevation gain. I don't know what the total elevation was. I don't remember. But there's something called, I think, Lagora, if I'm saying that right, Lagora Lake. So you hike up. It was snow up on the top. That was really neat. It was one of my first times on the trip where I hiked and I was walking through some snow. But you just hike steep up through the mountains, up through forest at first, and then rock scramble. And it's kind of hard to find at points. And then you kind of crest this part of the mountain. And as you do, you see the lake down below. Just beautiful blue body of water. There's this lake and it's surrounded by a mountain range. And I went down there and hung out, ate, and hiked back out. Went back into Idaho and camped out along the Snake River. I met this dude there, older gentleman, older than me, and he's a vet. And he had actually been, so this was 2020, the wildfires in California had just destroyed his home. He didn't have anything, but he bought one of those bicycles. I don't remember the name of it. You sit real low to the ground. It's long, 3 tires. And he had started this thing for vets, and him and some other veteran friends had biked across the country, and he was doing it again. I think he was going to meet some friends or maybe family. So we met up in Idaho, and he had this dog with him. He fished by the river and caught some fish. We ate him for dinner. But anyway, his dog, he had this bell on his fishing pole, and the dog would just watch, him fish, and it was really neat watching them. I got a little video that I stayed there 2 nights. We hung out both nights. The first night, he invited me to watch a movie. He had, I think it was a movie about the Civil War. I don't remember which one, but we watched it on this little DVD player he had. Had a couple beers, watched the movie. There was a couple other people camping there. They hung out with us too, and I shared with him and them about Sammy. And is this gentleman, I don't remember his name, but he lost his daughter. But he told me about it, and he just broke down in tears talking to me about it. And I remember after, he thanked me, and I asked him why, and he said he doesn't ever talk about it. It's something he keeps inside. It just crushed him. It still does, and he just doesn't talk about it at all. And he's uncomfortable talking about it. He's uncomfortable sharing with people. Hard for him. Also because of the way, when he shares with people, how they react, because it makes other people feel uncomfortable. So apparently me sharing made him feel comfortable enough to share. So we both had this connection, this communal moment where we talked about our children who had passed. And I was grateful for that, to meet this man. I hope our paths cross again. If not, I'll always value that. It's just grateful to give those pieces of yourself to somebody, to share those pieces of yourself, that 2 grown men were able to be vulnerable like that with each other. We both grew up in times where that wasn't the case. Being a man wasn't as much about that. When I was young, at least where I grew up, men hadn't as much embraced that side of themselves. And so it was nice. It was a beautiful moment to share with this man. And this guy actually, we were kind of like brothers almost. We felt like, we just talked and hung out the whole time and fished. And we were talking about the bikes. And I was like, man, I'd love to do that. He invited me to go, and he's like, how much do you love this car you have? And I was like, oh, this is on its last leg. I was like, I'm hoping it lasts me the trip, and then I'll probably have to get rid of it. And he's like, well, I know a place you can sell it if you want to buy one of those bikes and go with me. And I tell you what, I almost did. I guess it would have been impulsive, but I don't care. It was part of getting stronger, being impulsive, I was trying to get stronger on this trip. So I was doing things I hadn't done before, stepping out of my comfort zone. And I thought, geez, this will be another way to step out of my comfort zone. Just be impulsive and do this and alter my road trip and travel back the other way, across the country with this man on bike, see the country in a different way. And I was amped, and I really thought about doing it. I think I messaged my wife about it. I think she was kind of like, oh boy. Anyway, I didn't do it. That night, actually, I decided as I was in my tent that I'm not going to do this, because I wanted to drive up and down the California coast, and there was other places I wanted to see, and I wanted it to still be a solo trip and still connect with Sammy. And it was nice to communing with people every now and then, meeting up with somebody, but I needed to be by myself and do this on my own. Maybe one day I'll reconnect with this man, and he and I will do that. So the night before, well, it might not have been the night before, but camping at the other spot. That inspired a song in me, and I want to share this with you. Papa was a whiskey man, Mama stayed at home. She met her a holy man, and her heart was gone. Hang the children out to dry, women in the pew. Ain't no catcher, all the time to pay the rent. Tell me, mama, how to feel all your power lent. Funhouse mirrors across the land, shadows in the wind. Boy, you got your own two hands, echoes in the sin. Like my daddy, I do my best. Damn, these boots are tight. In the saddle and I'm heading west. Gotta own the night. Papa was a whiskey man, Mama stayed at home. I'm telling stories to the minute man, leaving time alone. So yeah, I'm grateful that I've found this way to express myself. I've been doing it for a long time through poetry, through stories. I didn't actually learn to play guitar until after I got out of the military. I got home and my brother was playing, he's better than I am, and he taught me how to play. And I used to play with a buddy. I still do, actually. He was just here recently. It's been a lifesaver. It's been a journey of discovery, and these songs, each time I write them, the lyrics are part of this journey of discovery. You know, I learned things about myself, and I kind of purge myself, you know. Like this song was connected to my son and connected to other things. When they've come up, you know, maybe I've talked to people about them as I learn them. You know, maybe I haven't. You know, maybe I've moved on, they've moved on. I don't need to. Often, like I brought a journal with me, and I know I wrote letters to loved ones while I was traveling. Some I sent to those people, some I didn't. Some, just the simple act of purging and writing what I had to write, you know, got out what I needed to get out, and so I didn't need to send that letter. Anyway, thanks for taking the time to listen. Thanks for doing this with me, letting me share with you. I hope that you can find ways to express yourself as I have, to not keep it in, to let it out. And to, I don't know if we heal. I use the word healing a lot of people do. I don't know if we heal, we just become different versions of ourselves. We create a different version of ourselves. But I know it's been a lifesaver for me. So yeah, I hope this video finds you well. You're all beautiful, and I love y'all. Peace.